And now this is a test to test if the speedrun music finally has been added. And here's my voice overlay with a bit of mix. And so it begins. Part 2 of the series. Back at with Bilbo and Tony Harmer, Illustrator 2021 Essential Training. We are indeed 1 hour in, and we are now at part 5, episode 2, the swatches color panel. Alrighty, let's see if we can finish it this afternoon at least. It's currently Dubai time 2:30 in the afternoon. My original projection is to finish this in 1 hour and 30 minutes, but I don't think that is possible because this is, after all, a 5-hour course. And I believe with all this explanation and voice overlay, I don't think I've got enough time in my plate here. Okay. Alrighty, let's begin.
And color groups which can be added to your Creative Cloud libraries as well. If I make a selection here like so, that becomes active and I could add those to my library. Then I've got some filters here to filter what I'm seeing, because Illustrator's swatches panel is showing me gradients, it's showing me patterns, and I might not want to see those. So if I click here, I can choose just show the colors, or of course the pattern swatches, and just show me the color groups. So you can filter that down to however you want to see it. And I've got options. Now we need a swatch active for that to be available, which can determine whether it's a process color or a spot color. And don't worry if you don't know what a spot color is, we'll be talking about that later on this chapter. And the color mode that's been used to mix it. And here are the different color modes we can use. Now there is LAB, which wasn't in the list earlier, and that's more A and B. And I could do, if I want, lightness is the main thing there, and then 2 channels A and B. Personally, I'll cancel out of that. Then we've got a folder for making color groups. Now, interestingly, if I select everything that's on the artboard here and click the color group, I'm going to choose the select, and it will create me. Got a new here to create a new swatch. I can also swatch actually.
Okay, so in this episode here, we will learn how to create swatches, create photos of colors, and I'm not really sure what spot colors are. Trying to do a quick research about what this is, even though he said we were going to talk about it later, but I still do want to. Spot color, what is that? It is where a pre-mixed ink such as a spot color green is used rather than a mix of yellow and blue as you would in CMYK printing. Oh right. So a spot color is if you would mix the color beforehand, and CMYK normal printing is you just print it normally with all different overlaps of dots. And let's take a look at a detailed comparison here. CMYK final, and if you zoom in, it'll look something like this. But what about, so spot color is very, so it's a lot more detailed than, yeah, it's much more detailed. Yeah, so spot color versus CMYK. Let's take a look. Spot color versus CMYK, or versus process color. There you go. So spot color is you just print the actual color, and then CMYK is where you print dots in order to fake the illusion of the color. Interesting. And that's why spot color can be very, very expensive sometimes. And let's close this tab over here, and we'll tap back to our Adobe Illustrator. So here we need to go to spot color, sorry, not this one. We need to go to bilbo.ai once more, and we are going to open the swatches panel. Show more options. Nope. Okay, so I'm just going to enlarge this, and as you can see, we have this folder over here. We can sort all of this by patterns, by gradients, by whatever, but here I'm just going to do all, And of course, we have all this this color library here. I believe we do have color books, and Pantone is most likely the spot color we're going to be talking about. Pantone solid coated. I believe this is the original. Let's take a look at here. Yeah, so these are all spot colors. And wait, these are global colors, right? Wait, so this is a global color. Yeah, this is a global color. And the one with a small dot, that makes it a spot color. Okay, so let's just drag all of this and make a new folder, call it global, like what Mr. Tony did. And this should create indeed a new file folder. What if, let's say, I want to create a separate swatch? So unclick that, new swatch, and I can change spot color this time. And there should be a tiny little dot right over here. Let's delete that. We don't really want that. Or we can just drag all of this and into the trash bin. It goes. If I want to delete this folder, we can just drag this folder and into the trash bin. It goes. Very, very nice. Very, very organized as well.
Or if you're really trying to pare down a document, maybe for sharing with a colleague, then you can click on the flyout menu just here. You can choose select all unused, and then you could delete and get rid of all of those and clean your document up.
Wait a minute, that's even that's even better. We can even select all the colors. Select all unused. Hello, select all unused, and then we can just delete. Hit delete all of these. Nice. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's go tap once more. To global swatches. Global swatches global color is if, let's say, you colored something with the global color, and if you switch the global color, in all instances of objects colored using that color will change at the same time.
Swatches are your own style definition for color, and some people absolutely swear by them. My friend Von, for example, Von Glitchka, who you might have seen some of his stuff or courses, if not, check it out.
Von Glitchka.
He has.
This name sounds very, very familiar. Let's take a look here. Who is Von Glitchka? Von Glitchka. Ah, look at this. The course I'm about to watch, Learning Logo Design, is also by Von Glitchka. Well, thank you very much, Tony. Mr. Tony. I'll definitely check it out later.
Everything as global because it's a smart move. That way you can actually change things without having to make lots of selections. Let's get a flavor of how that works by going ahead and opening up our color panel. Now, if you can't see that, just go on up to the window menu and you'll find it just down here. There it is, just there. Okay, once you've got that, you'll need to see all of the options here. So you can click on the flyout and choose show options. How that works by going ahead the window menu and you'll find it just down here. There it is, just there. On the flyout and choose show options, A or HSB. I think I'm going to go sort of lilac-y, and go ahead and go up to the. Now the new swatch dialog will to create a new swatch. Now the new swatch dialog will open. Let's call this my color because here. Hit OK and because it's your own color here. It's a process color, so it will be made from inks or from a process. Make sure global is now close the color. Small corner chip torn off there around the outside of the circle here. And what you can do is you can select similar colors. So we're going to go up, same fill color, and it will select all of those different shapes. One of the shapes here of the circle, select same, all of those different. Excellent. Bilbo loves his new suit. Okay. Write it down where it is changed. Awful way to.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is first we're going to create our own global color. Then we're going to use the select tool, the semi-automatic selection tool, and then we're going to color everything with our new global color, and then we're going to switch the color. So this is what we're going to do right over here, like so. First of all, let us go to the color, show more options. Let's create a color in HSB in this time. HSB. Hello. Oh, sorry, I pressed Shift X. That's completely unintended. Let's go to HSB. Yep. And let us make it brighter, and then let's make the hue a little bit yellow. Maybe a little bit brighter here. and create new swatch here. Let's make it global and process color, of course. RGB, boom, boom, boom. Okay. And here, if we go to our swatches tab here, we can see our newly created color. We can, of course, drag this into different photos, like so. But this is not our priority. Okay. Now we need our normal selection tool, select one, or we can just choose the magic wand tool, and we can tweak the settings too. So the tolerance should be 0 over here, and if we just close this, we should be able to just press yellow. And that's very interesting. Why did this also select? Oh, I had to re-click after I changed the tolerance level. But if we just disregard this, let's just select the normal selection and then just go here, fill color, and press yellow. Boom, here's our new surroundings. And now we can, of course, change this as well. Let's change it with our HSB or lab lightness, and maybe add a little bit of that orangey. Oh wow, this looks beautiful. Holy moly. Now this is the sakura pink I'm talking about. Right, let's go back.
Spot colors are usually and most often manufacturer defined and manufactured inks. They're actually a special ink.
They're a special ink. The manufacturer makes them, so it is not mixed by a process. That's why it's a spot, because they literally mix the ink in specific quantities to make the accurate color. So instead of printing in dots, they're going to layer it with the actual color.
That exceeds quite often what CMYK and some other processes can achieve.
Yes.
But they are expensive, because when you run them through a print unit, normally in addition to the CMYK colors, then
they're going to cost extra, because with the spot color, they have to fill the ink, print, and then drain the ink. So they have to clean the printer every time they use a new spot color. So
they're going to cost extra because the machine has to be completely cleaned before, and then use books. These are various manufacturers of color.
Yeah, and
Pantone, I think, is far and away in the Western world, at least the most popular. So we'll choose Pantone Solid Coated from here. Okay.
Yeah, Pantone Solid Coated.
And there's a huge range of color.
Yeah.
And actually, there's even more if you go to some of their other series here. Okay, and these are what spot swatches look like. They have a small dot in the corner, so they've got the same kind of slice off the bottom there, but with a dot. Tells you it's a spot
Yeah, so this doesn't mean it's a global color, but it's just a spot color.
And if somebody asks you for a particular...
Wait, but what if I did create a global color which is also a spot? How would that look like? So if I double click this, and since it's global, and then I just switch to spot, yeah, so how do you differentiate? What if, I see. So if you choose spot color, it no longer has the option of global. Right, so what if I now change the color again? What will happen? Wait, so spot colors by nature is global. That's interesting, I guess. So now I didn't make it global anymore, and then if I change the color, it doesn't change anymore. But if I choose global again, and if I switch the color again, then it will be de-instanced. I see how it is. So what if I did so I have to basically re-instance it by hitting the Y tool and then selecting again, and then if I do this again, boom. But if I change to spot color and I change the color again, it should still work. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Interesting.
Particular Pantone color to be used that limits that down to 236C and 2365, which is a variant of that color. But if we use them, okay, there is, like I said, a cost attended to it. So I'm just going to choose the colors that I've got here, but convert them to a spot color for the
color. I see. So you can even make custom spot colors. So you've got color books from Pantone, but you can also, of course, make your own.
Purpose of this. So I'll double click model to spot, because you can actually have your own colors mixed if you need to. Okay, your printer will charge you a lot for it, but you can have them mixed. I'm just going to make a slight change here, just going to drop that color down. It's quite possibly still CMYK I could go ahead and switch to a different model. Let's go to LAB, just live on the adventurous side just for a minute. Let's increase the lightness. I'm just doing a few things here just to change this out, because it was using a global definition, and we'll talk about that in the next movie. But let's go ahead now and have a look at our color separations for printing. Go to the window menu, come down to separations preview.
Separations preview. So this is what it will look like before it prints, or how, what?
Printing in the next movie. But let's go ahead now and have a look at our color separations for printing. Go to the window
Color separations
menu,
printing. Okay.
come down to separations preview. Now Illustrator will have to switch into another mode to show you that. If I go overprint preview, just here, we can now see the CMYK sets and our spot color. If I turn our spot color off, almost everything there disappears. That's weird, it's like a Siamese cat. But if I turn that back on, so let's turn off some of these others here, just leave cyan on for the moment. So that's cyan ink, then the magenta ink, then the yellow added onto that, then some black, and then our spot color on top. So that little bit there would cost us a lot of extra money, but normally we wouldn't be mixing our own color for that. We'd be using a manufacturer defined version. We're going to turn overprint preview off, close the separations panel, and let's have a look at how this.
Okay, I see how it goes. Okay, so let's quickly go to spot colors here. Let us also just so since now Mr. Tony here already defined the global colors, so we're just going to turn this into a spot color, and let us change. Wait, so instead of making this a spot color, what if I change the other one? Let's make this a spot color, because I want to see in the separation overview, so the print overview, how it will look like. So if I change this to the pink again, and I made this also a spot color. Now view and go to separations view. Where did that go? Where is the separations view? Wait, is it? No, it's not window. It is the separate. Where did that go then? Transparency grid. Artboard. Is it overprint preview? It doesn't look like it, no? Do I have to zoom out? Wait, but where is that? Let's close that. Where did that option go? Okay, so let me just quickly alt tab.
Was made in cyan on for the moment. I'll see the CM come down
Oh, it's the window. What?
to separate.
How does that make sense? What? I mean, it's a view. It's a view mode, so why does it belong to window?
Preview. Now Illustrator will have to switch into another mode to show you that. If I go overprint preview, just here, we can now see the CMYK sets and.
Oh, I see. So it's the separation tool window, and then it opened up the overprint preview window, which the overprint preview view, which we just opened ourselves. Okay.
Off
That makes
almost
sense.
everything.
Makes sense. So let us first try this. So overprint preview, and let's get our separations preview. Our separations. So preview separations, the window on, and let's enlarge this here. We can turn off this, and it's going to look like just a white color here. Yeah. So if we just turn everything else off, this is our spot color with its different shades, and we add a bit of cyan, magenta, yellow, and then finally black. Wow. Show use spot colors only. Okay. And that's about it. So if we want to go back, so if we want to go out of the overprint preview, we just need to unclick this. But what if we did separations preview, overprint preview, and let's just click off this and then unclick. So it's going to return no matter what, I believe. Yeah, it's going to return no matter. So if we turn overprint preview off, We have to basically just, yeah. So overprint preview is kind of redundant, isn't it? When we already have the separation preview. Yeah, so let's just turn that off. We can even what? We can even preview on CPU. Oh, that's weird. So how does that make a difference?
Thing there.
Oh, so one you use GPU to render and the other on CPU?
We wouldn't be mixing our own color for that. We'd be using
tints.
In the brief period of my life in which I was a press operator, just a couple of years, I used to run a single color unit. Now we did do 2 color jobs, but we'd have to wash up in between. And in fact, even with special colors, we'd wash up in between all the time anyway. Now, this particular illustration here, there are only 2 swatches in this document, and it's built from these 2 swatches. These swatches happen to be global, mixed by myself, but they could just as easily be spot colors. To achieve this range, I've used tints. Okay, so if I go ahead and open the color panel just here and
then go to lab, is it?
Click on one of these items. So I've just clicked inside Bilbo's left ear here, right as you see it. You can see the swatch that I'm using is just here, and this is a 72% tint of that swatch. If I come down to the light markings just above his eyes and click, you can see that's a 46% swatch. And you can see here the one just underneath is a 56%. And then going down towards the end of his snout there, 49, and at the bottom, just there, a 13% tint. That's actually a little bit low, to be perfectly honest. I have trouble printing that in some circumstances, but that's by the by. Going to the main body of his head, you can see this is the other swatch here, and this is a 60% tint of that swatch, which is just about fully applied. In fact, it is 100% applied on the darker markings just here. And in the eye, that's the other swatch actually, I think. No, same one. Let's have a look. There we go. I'm slightly confused with that one there. Ah, there you go, clicked on the wrong thing. So there you are. That's a 44% tint of the earlier swatch. But there you go. That's how that works in practice. You can use tints to limit the colors, and they're kind of attractive, very much.
Okay, so what does that really mean? Using tints. So if I just, so he used direct selection here, but if I used normal selection, how is that any different? Will it change all different other versions? No. But if I change the tint of this and then I change the global color, oh wait, what do I do? I have to deselect and then I choose the global color and I make this a little bit different. I see. So you can customize a part, well, even colored by global color, you can color a part. Never mind, you can do it anyways. Yeah. What am I saying? But tints, yeah, a very, very useful one. So select it, and of course, there are different tints here. Interesting. Of course, I can also just Shift X and just make it completely disappear. But
in vogue at the moment as well, limited color
groups.
You can organize colors into groups, and that's quite a logical thing to do and saves you hunting around the swatches panel. There are a few different ways you can head and click on this folder icon at the bottom of the swatches panel. I'm just going to call this one My Group, just for now. Not very imaginative, I know, but then I can drop colors into it. So I think, all right, I'm going to be using these colors with me, and click on Work Selected, by the way, and just pick up some other colors to collect color. There you go. I can add those into my group like so, saving me from hunting around. You can also add just the objects on top. That's fine. So I'm going to use Command A, Control A, to select everything here, and then go back to my swatches panel and click on the folder icon. I'm just hit OK from that.
Yeah, I mean, this is just adding different colors, so we don't really need to go over this again.
There is both a science and an art to the. Unfortunately for us, Illustrator has a panel to help us select colors based on color harmonic rules. It's called the Color Guide panel, and it normally hangs out with the color panel, and here it is like so. going to click on the heart here in this graphic and then click on this set base color swatch there. Now you can see immediately I've got a result of colors that go well in this center column here using the current harmonic rule. If I click here, I can see loads of different rules. Okay, so I can go through scrolling up and down to help us select colors based on color harmonic to Newton, Van.
Wait, so you're telling me there is an option in Illustrator to help you with color theory, even though I didn't learn anything about it? Nice.
Gertz, more recently Itten. Fortunately for us, Illustrator has a panel to help us select colors, color guide panel, and it normally hangs out with the color panel, and here it is like so.
Okay.
I'm going to click on the heart here in this graphic and then click on this set base color swatch there.
Okay.
Now you can see immediately I've got a result of colors that go well in this center column here using the current harmonic rule.
Okay.
If I click here, it's out with the color panel, and here Illustrator has a harmonic.
So if
normally
you just select any color, then it will automatically generate other colors for you to follow.
hangs out with the color panel, and here it is like so. I'm going to click on the heart here in this graphic and then click on this set base color swatch there.
So you gotta set the color.
Now you can see immediately I've got a result of colors that go well in this center column here using the current harmonic rule. If I click here, I can see loads of different rules. Okay, so I can go through scrolling up and down because there are lots. It will help me, depending on what I'm looking for, to choose colors. So I'll stick with the tetrad just at the moment, because in addition to the actual tetrad, it's showing me some shades and tints either side to help me pick colors. Now, if I want to, I can change that between two other variations. I can come up to the flyout menu here and choose to show warm or cool variations. I can also show vivid and muted variations as well. If I want to change the number of results I've got here, again, it's up to the flyout menu and choose the color guide options. To be honest, I normally have mine set to 10 either side, and I drag this panel out so it's really wide like that to help.
Right, so he colored Bilbo not by selecting each, but rather by using the color guide. I see.
Help me choose colors because you get slightly more variation there.
Yeah.
Now you can either drag colors out of here onto your artwork. So let's say I was looking for something for this banner just here. I'd start out with a light color like so, and then I might have a slightly darker variation of it for these endpoints just here. Okay, and then an even darker variation for these points here, and you can see they just go really nicely with the surrounding colors. I could also, making sure I've got no artwork selected, because otherwise I could inadvertently color it, select colors from here. So I can click and hold down shift to select arrange, or I can click and hold down command, that would be control on Windows, to select individual colors here. Once I've got my selection, then I can go ahead, come down here to the icon and click to save the color group to the swatch
panel. Wow, that is indeed the most genius I've seen. I mean, I did this before, but I never paid that much attention to it, so that is that. Let us begin by opening the color guide. So we've got to select this color, set as the base. Hello? This is purple, isn't it not? Huh? Wait a minute. Set this as the base color. Can I not? Wait. What's going on here? Why is this not being set to purple? So you got orange. But then what happened to the purple? Oh, wait. That's really weird. That's really weird. So do you have to double click? No, you just... What happened then? Okay, anyways. We have different rules. We have complementary. We have compound. Let's do high contrast. High contrast here. We can also expand this here. Color guide options. Let's make it 7 steps. 7 steps, and let's change it to show warm and cool. So we have the central here. If you want a little bit of a warmer color, you go with orange. Let us go to vivid and muted. So this is, but of course the first one, tinted shades. So this is just from light to dark. So here, let us begin with 1 for the front, and then 3 for the middle back, and 5 for the inner areas, like so. And that's it. Looking very, very sweet. What about 2? I think 2 looks a little bit better. Yeah. Here's what we're talking about.
This panel.
Oh yeah, of course. We can also deselect everything. So Control Shift A. Let's do this. Sorry, we have to do Shift. All of that, and then we can save this, or we can do Control and then save this into the swatches as well. Save group, save color group to a swatch panel. Wait, so does it automatically save? It doesn't even prompt you what sort of oh right, so I see it. There are no confirmations. So let's just do this and just drag this and delete it. Yeah, thank you very much. Or you can just control. Oh no, what have I done? Or you can deselect this, select this, Control A. No, this does not work. So we have to do select all unused colors and just delete all of these. Now that looks much better. Cool. One last thing, if I go to color guide once more, let's select this. That is base color, and make sure to deselect everything and press Shift, add to group. If we go to swatches again, here we can see our shades. Nice.
So I can then go ahead and use it throughout my artwork. In this chapter, we're going to take a look at all things to do
with strokes. Sure, strokes are something very, very nice.
With strokes, and that will start with the basic stroke attribute. Zoom in on, so full panel will mine open just here. End cap, which has default there is corner. You can also set a limit for how much of a corner you get. So if you get a really steep angle, it may be that you end up with a super pointy edge. Let me show you how that works. A very, very steep angle, like so. Okay, so there's my very steep angle. You can see it's not doing anything with the mitering, but if I increase the mitering here, then I get this very long point. To be perfectly honest, unless I was using that as an effect, I'd probably round that off because it makes a nicer join there, like so. The last thing we'll look at in this movie is the stroke alignment. Now you'll notice that 2 of these here are dimmed. They're not available, and that's because stroke alignment can only work on closed paths. So if I delete the shape that I've just drawn there and go have those options available.
Yep. Let us we finished our tints. We'll finish all of this, so I think it's time for us to close all of this as well. Thanks, and then let's open chapter number 6 material. And we need to go to the most basic of strokes. And the most basic of strokes begin with the line tool. So we gotta do a backslash for the line tool. And to be honest, we can also just zoom in here. There, select this over here. Reset our essential workspace. With this, we can go to the stroke, show more options panel, and let's just drag it to the left a little bit. Let's have an over cap, end cap. This is too small to see anyways. We can also round the corner, but again, it's too small to see. What about this one here? We can, I believe if we change this to a round cap, it doesn't really matter because it's a corner. If we do this and this, it changes the corner. And we can also align the stroke inside. We can align the stroke outside or to the center or to the outside. In this case, I like the middle. And the miter effect is if we just draw a line over here. So with the pen tool, I believe. Yeah, we have the pen tool over here. So if we just do this, this, and this, if it's very sharp, if we increase the miter, we can see that there is a very sharp point. But what if we increase it even further? No. So there is just a limit. So if it goes above 10, or if it goes above 11, then there will be a very, very sharp corner. Usually, like Mr. Tony, he said usually a round corner would look much better. Okay.
Available. So if I choose to align the strokes, the default there is always to the in. Creating dashed strokes in Illustrator is pretty straightforward. 2 lines here which are meant to represent kind of border on border. And so I'm going to choose dash.
With dashed lines, very easy. So you have dashes and gaps. So we're just going to run through this really quick to see what end product Mr. Tony wants us to do here. Yes. Back to the original, and then here we want
Stroke here. And the reason I'm doing that,
and here we want dotted line, so we have 0 dash, but we have gaps. Yeah, very, very good. And that's about it. So it's very straightforward. I don't think. Let's go to dash stroke. Here, let us zoom in really, really closely. Here, and let us direct select this. Normal select this line, dash line. Turn that on, and let us decrease the dash size to like 5 or something. Yeah. What about 4? Enter. Yeah, 4 sounds about right. So then that means we should also change the one below to a 4 as well. Dash line, a 4. And if we press this or this, it really does not matter too much, does it? No, it doesn't. Now we need to make this a dotted line. In order to make this a dotted line, we need to make the 0 dash, but with a gap of around 5, perhaps. Wait a minute. So the gap of 5 is too large, so what about a 1? Oh wait, we gotta make the cap round caps. Now it should make sense, yeah. So 5, there we go. 6, no, that's way too little. 15 should do. And maybe we should also increase the weight to around like 10 or something. That's way too much. I just hit delete. Let's change it to 8. 8, there we go. Now if you zoom out really quick, yeah, that looks about right. And for the border, we can do dash line again. So we have dash 5, gap 0. Sorry, gap, let's do gap 4. And then we can also again add more dashes, so let's do 8. And let's also do a gap of 4. This is calculated and this isn't, so it looks, so in the corners, if we select this, it will look better. Cool.
or a dotted line and dash lines, and have multiple end cap per each, like so. Believe it or not, it's only in the last few years, maybe like the last 5 or 6 years or so, that we've had arrowheads inside of the stroke panel in Illustrator. They actually used to be an effect, which was a real bind when you were actually using arrowheads. Now it's pretty easy, and all you really need to know, and not even 100% that, is the direction in which you draw your stroke.
Yeah, because you can always flip your arrow later on, the direction of your arrow.
So let's pretend to start And so we're going
what
to
do we
go
need to
ahead
change
and
here?
choose a bar. There's a small, you can see the proportions of those
can
somewhere in
change
that region. Looks perfectly honest. I might actually put that the wrong way round. Additionally, if I just zoom in on the stroke, you can see at the moment the arrowhead there isn't doing that any favors.
That's pretty simple as well. So where did he want to point it to? Ah, this red dot over here. Wait, which red dot? Which red dot? Oh, this red dot. Okay. We just need to draw a dashed line like so. Boom and boom. Nope, we do not want to intersect. We just want to create an anchor. It's not going to be a dashed line. Wait a minute. Why did it select the other? First deselect and then not intersect. Deselect again. Boom, like so. Close dash line because it's not arrowhead. The end. So this is the end. The end cap should be something like this, and the other one should be something like so. Okay. The weight is a little bit too large for my taste, so I'm just going to drop it down to 5. And for the scale, of course, we're going to shift it to like 50. And that should be 40. Yeah, now it looks much better. Of course, we can switch the directions. And we can also choose to extend the arrow or the tip. In this case, this is the end and this is the tip of the start. So let's just let's just zoom in here and then just press A for direct selection and change the anchor somewhere here. Let's do this. Let's change it to like that. Boom. Nice.
And additionally, if I just zoom in on the stroke, you can see at the moment these are finishing after the, so you can see how you can draw.
Alright, so now we have variable width strokes, and this we need to use a pattern. I believe I forgot about how you do this, but
Profiles can introduce some nice variability to our strokes and help to make them look more attractive and sometimes even more natural. I'm just going to zoom in on the wavy lines here, which of course are meant to be representing
the
ocean.
Yep.
And I'm going to select all 3 of those and then go to my stroke panel. Okay, and down at the bottom of the stroke panel.
Oh yeah, the profile. Yeah, for each stroke you can apply a profile. And the profile can be made from a shape.
You'll see I have this profile menu, and from there I'm going to choose width profile 1. And you can see now that I have strokes that tail off nicely towards their ends. You can actually create your own profiles if you want to. So what I'm going to do is use the line tool here. I'll just hit backslash on my keyboard and I'll draw a short line here and then zoom in on that so we can all see it more clearly. Now I'll change the weight of this because that is actually something that the strokes will depend on. When you create them, they will work best at that size, although you can scale them. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, if I just do that very quickly on this one just here and make it larger, okay, and smaller, that one works perfectly well. But not all strokes will behave like that, and they still need some idea of how much variability there is, and it's difficult to do that with a narrow stroke. So with this one here, I'm going to hold down Shift and tap W, which is the quickest way to get to the width tool. Now you might just be able to see a small dot following my movement here on the stroke, and that's basically helping me with where I place the point. And if I press and drag outwards, like so, you can see I can make...
Yeah, now I remember. Okay.
Make that stroke much wider. And if I move to another point and press and point inwards, narrower, and of course I can go ahead and do that as much as I want. It doesn't have to be key like so. Go back to anywhere you can add files icon at the bottom. When you do that, you get to give it a name. I'm just going to call this one demo, and I've got one in there. Okay, now I've got a width profile that I can use. And you can see how that changes the stroke. And actually, I think if I tethered that off at the end just a little bit more there, that would have looked even nicer. But there you are. That's how.
But how do you tether that in the end? Well, you choose the stroke to end it. So instead of okay, I'm just going to show you how to do that. Then strokes. Yep. Wait. Sorry, variable width. There you go. So this is the one we need to be using. First, let's go to the line tool, and we're just going to just drag a very straight line over here, like so. Let's change the weight to 10, I believe, and let's change the color So we've got to go to this over here, show options, and we're going to where is the sample? Where is the color dropper? Yeah, the eyedropper tool. So the eyedropper tool, yeah, there we go. And now we have the same color. So then we can zoom in here. Shift W for the width tool, I believe is this one. Yes, so that's the Shift W. We can even crystallize this, which is interesting. Okay, that's a little bit weird. Never seen this before. How do I decrease the size? Do I control? Let's forget about crystallize. But what about? What is a twirl? Oh wow, that's interesting. Wait, so what if I can? Alright, anyways, Shift W, width tool. So width profile is the only one that you can add. Yeah, because it's called width profile. Duh. Okay. Let's just increase this a little bit here to make it like a fish. So can I just drag this along? Yeah, I believe I can. Interesting. So let me just quickly do this on one side and go back to the stroke panel over here. Let's make this a round cap, and that should do. Can I even add a limit here? It's a round cap. I don't think it does anything. That's a square round cap. But then how did he make it so sharp? Anyways, let's save this profile. Let's just call it weird. And let's try to apply this to the line, to the stroke here. So if we just scroll all the way down, here's our weird profile. Yeah, it does look a little bit more wavy, doesn't it? Oh, and that's the end of chapter number 6. So now let's move on to chapter number 7. This is where we learned how to align objects to the artboard and how to align objects or distribute objects evenly in a space, in an area. So that means let's just close all of this. No thanks. No thanks. No thanks. Come on, one more. There you go. So Control O, chapter number 7. Nearly reached the half point here. And boom, here we go. So first of all, let's go to the, is it the air show or is it the align? It's the align.ai. And since it's chapter number 7 and it's another 50 minutes, so I'm just going to end the stream and come back with the part number 3.